Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. All right, welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining the Bookers Alliance podcast. We appreciate you joining today. Pull yourself up a ringside seat. We got a lot to talk about, don't we, Frank?
Yeah, it was a busy weekend this past weekend here. We're coming out of the Memorial Day weekend, coming out of the Frank birthday weekend. All parties aside, you know, we got to get some conversation going here.
Woo, the Frank birthday weekend.
Oh, yeah, the Frank birthday party. A Frank birthday party, AEW, NXT, WWE, the Monday night show, the NXT show, the Friday night leading. Oh, my God, we got a lot of wrestling going on here.
So we're going to title this one Memorial Day Weekend Wrestling Madness, not Macho Madness.
No, not Macho
Not the
Madness.
Ultimate
the
Macho
Madness?
King. Oh, the Ultimate Madness.
The Ultimate Madness.
I like that.
Oh, yeah. Dig it.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about everything that kind of went down this weekend. It was a packed, full weekend of wrestling, and we're going to start it off with NXT. NXT has come a long way since the 2.0 conversion, and it made their way back to the black and gold conversion.
Thank God. They still got the colorful belt, though. You know,
they do have the colorful belt, and Braun Breaker's still wearing them colorful tights. But
yeah, he's on black with a little splash of color. So, yeah, he's not the full face of the brand yet. He's half the face.
Speaking of face, he did have that dog face.
Yeah, he's got to have a dog face.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so he completely engulfed that gimmick. He took kind of both Steiners and merged them into one Steiner.
Together.
Yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, so talking about NXT, so I will tell you the first match that really, really, really impressed me was Dijak versus Dragunov.
Okay.
That match was incredible as far as what they call in New Japan, like strong style.
There you go.
Them dudes just took it to each other.
Yeah, they banged it. They definitely ran a banger there. I mean, you know, when you talk about hard hitting, and that word's gonna come up a lot this weekend. Hard hitting, because this was a hard hitting ass weekend of wrestling.
Yep.
But they started it, like you said, NXT started their event with those two guys, and they did some hard hitting there. So
yeah, their match, they kind of went from all kinds of weapons, all kinds of different holds and uses of the weapons. But I think one thing that they're missing the boat on, unfortunately, is Dijak is good at getting these rivalries, but they can't get him into a story.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's – I mean, even when he went to the main roster, you know, they did the whole Mace and T-Bar deal.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. That was a joke. But before that, I mean, you know, he had pretty good storylines in NXT, you know, in his first run before he went to the main roster. But even then, you know, he wasn't that main event character. He was I don't want to say an attraction. He is kind of an attraction with his look, but – I mean, they really aren't booking him as an attraction. I don't know. You know who he likens me to? The guy on, Lance Archer over in AEW.
Yeah.
They're kind of swimming in that same boat. They got a similar look.
I agree
They could be real dominant if they were booked right, but it's just for some reason or another, neither guy can get booked right. But if they could get those two guys together and make a tag team, I mean, they'd be like Chronic. You know, they'd be an awesome team, but I don't know. They're going to have to figure out something for that Dijak guy, because, I mean, his look is amazing. You know, he's got main event written all over him, but apparently something's missing. But, yeah, he did miss in that match. I mean, you know, from what I saw of it, it looked great. So.
Yeah. And speaking of tag teams, the Creed brothers, and they lost their match. And, you know, I'm looking at those guys, and I'm going to go, okay, you're ready for a main roster call-up between the.
Well, WWE needs some tag teams up there until they fix that tag team belt situation, which, if you listen to the archives, you heard us rant about that already, so we'll digress from that today.
Yep.
But, yeah, they could definitely use an upgrade in the tag team division on the main roster, and they've got – you know, they're cultivating some good teams in NXT to move up. So Creed brothers are definitely at the top of that list.
Yep. And then moving on to Tiffany Stratton versus Valkyria. Tiffany Stratton is just she's gold waiting to happen.
So
she's just got it.
Let me ask you though, was there any doubt when the bell rang? Was there any doubt who was walking away with that champion? No. So yeah, I had no doubt anyway. I said, hey, this is meant for her. You know, she's kind of been earmarked for this. and they paid it off. But I mean, she looks good, or her looks good. Her gimmick is good. I don't know if she's ready for a main roster by any means yet. So keeping her in NXT is a good thing. Let her get a run with the belt. Let her get some experience under her, in her waist. And then maybe we move up there. But, after the whole Mandy Rose thing, NXT's women division kind of flailed a little bit.
True.
They hurried up and got the belt off of her. Then Roxanne got hurt. Then she got drafted.
Then Indy got it.
Yeah, then we got a tournament. Then Indy got, then Indy got the belt. Then she got drafted and dropped the belt. So, it kind of flailed for a while. So I'm hoping by putting it on Tiffany Stratton that she can go ahead and get a run and establish herself as a champion, and we get a good title reign out of it.
Yeah, I like what she's got going on. Her gimmick is kind of a cross between Sasha Banks, $1 Million Man. That's
She's kind of like the mean girl, kind of the rich girl type thing.
Yeah.
WWE, they try and stay away from the whole bullying thing, so she can't go full on mean girl. But I mean, she's teetering in that mean girl territory. Almost, if she's smart, I mean, she would maneuver herself into like a female MJF type deal. Hey, I'm better than you. I got more money than you. This is who I am, and you're just going to have to deal with it. I mean, I'm not putting any hints out there, Shawn Michaels, if you're listening. But a female MJF, if you don't make it obvious enough where everybody realizes you're just stealing the gimmick, that's a damn good gimmick to steal. So
come on, Shawn, you got to make that happen, man.
I mean, hey, he's HBK. He knows about initials. He's MJF. He's HBK. Just go ahead and, borrow a little bit here. It's not stealing if you borrow it. We're just going to borrow it and not give any credit.
Pay and compliment.
Absolutely. But we're not going to give any credit. We're not going to say that we're doing it. But I mean, she's already in the mold of it. Just go ahead and push it. She doesn't have to go off the edge with the whole, just being evil and, being mean to little kids and all that. That's not going to be a WWE thing. That ain't going to happen. But she can teeter on that, right before tipping over the edge.
Don't take it the Chelsea Green complaint department.
No, we don't need any more Karen.
No, but do take it to where you're just the jerk. And just take that character, because that's
just the female MJF. Yep. I mean, again, not nabbing stuff, but hey, we're the Bookers Alliance. We talk about everything here. So let's be honest, that gimmick would work for her, and it seems like she could work it pretty damn good.
Yep. And then let's talk about briefly the championship match. Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker.
I don't know if that's going to be brief. That was a match. Those two guys, they got chemistry and they can bring it.
So yeah, they have like you said, a chemistry. They are really good at telling the story in the match.
In the match, yeah.
As far as the strength moves, he kind of. He's reminiscent of his uncle.
Absolutely. Scott and Rick. He's kind of a merge of both of them, like we said earlier. It's kind of what he does.
Carmelo, he's your high flyer. He's
the perfect foil for a strength guy.
Elusive,
Yeah, because exactly. He's a smaller guy. He can move, he can bump, he can do what he needs to do. And he really complements a strength guy like Braun, who needs to throw you around, who needs to pick you up and toss you. I mean, they've just got a great chemistry. A lot of people were saying, we thought Braun was going to get picked up in the draft. Why didn't he get upgraded in the draft? I think because they realized what they had with those two guys working together. And they're absolutely. Like, I know we just paid off this whole angle with the whole belt changing thing, but, we could ride this through the whole summer and be A-okay with, not having to worry about where we're going there. It looks like on the NXT show from Tuesday that they're going to move into a different direction, so we'll have to see what's next for Braun, but, Carmelo looks like he's, poised to be a threat right here in NXT right now.
I'm just waiting for that day that he makes it up to the main roster, because some of the matches that he could have.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's incredible. It's all waiting there.
Same thing, though. I don't want him to move up to the main roster until they get that belt situation fixed. That's going to be a thing with me for a while. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I don't really want any more convolution in that setup, because the belts are so messed up.
Yeah.
If you upgrade a guy that's already a champion now in NXT, you would think he would go up there and start challenging for a belt. Well, kind of where everything is right now, everybody's kind of set in their position. And I really don't want guys that are succeeding in NXT to get the call up and not get that push with it.
True.
WWE definitely has a problem with that in the past. So we don't need to see that happen anymore. We need to take our time with guys and bring them up when the time is right.
Yeah, Vince. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying.
Just saying.
I hear he's remotely assisting with the creative now. Like he's not in the office, he's not in the back yelling, but apparently he's sending emails in and he's
I hope
remotely
he's wearing pants at least.
Well, I mean, hey, he's working from home. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not always wearing pants when I'm working from home. So
TMI.
yeah, let Vince can do what he needs to do. Vince and Linda. All right.
So that was NXT. Great show. We'll transition it and talk about AEW, Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing.
From Las
AEW
Vegas.
Don. I like that it's called AEW Don. I'm like, look at that. What a shout out.
So we'll talk about this, but unfortunately, it was a little bit of a snooze fest.
Literally. I mean, so yeah, I didn't watch it live. I mean, I watched it after, and yeah, somewhere in the middle of it, it kind of got long-winded, which AEW pay-per-views tend to do. I mean, I get it. They want to give us everything, give us all they got, but how many times can you kick out a devastating moves? How many times can you, false finish me, until it gets so repetitive that you're just like, okay, whatever, hurry up.
Yeah, that's actually one of my main gripes about AEW is the bastardization of finishing moves.
Yeah.
That's my only.
Well, they don't have finishers there. I mean, let's have one half of the main event was finished with a headlock takeover. I mean, that happened. I get it. It was in the gimmick. I get it for the story, but I mean, that ain't a finish. We saw 1,000 finishes in that particular match. None of them finished anything. They all were able to be kicked out of, but they had the good old headlock takeover always comes through in the end.
But I will say, let's go ahead and talk about that match. So this is the Four Pillars match. This was MJF, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, and who am I missing?
Sammy,
Guevara.
soon to be father.
Soon to be
Sammy.
father.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sammy.
Yeah, they brought the whole TikTok poster board out to announce the pregnancy. I mean, was there any shock there?
I mean, that wasn't going to take long.
No, I mean, they were bound. They on the All Access show, they were showing that one would be on TV, the other one would be off. Sammy was getting the main event push, so based on that strategy, I guess Ty knew she wasn't going to be on TV for a while anyway. So she's like, "Hey, while we're here." Also, while we're congratulating on pregnancies, Alexa Bliss.
Bliss, absolutely.
Announced her pregnancy. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything to do with either one. I mean, I would have loved to have contributed, but since I didn't, send congratulations out to the ladies.
But in talking about the match, so there was a couple of cool things in the match. The first thing that I'd like to point out and talk about, I have to steal this from our good friends over there at Busted Open. This was a different four-way match than most, four-way dances or whatever.
Because it was a heavyweight match with no heavyweight?
No, it's because you didn't have one guy laying around on the outside while the other 2 or 3 guys went at it inside.
No, yeah, there was a lot of action.
This was everybody in there at the same time, really competing.
Yeah, they stayed involved. Yeah. Everybody stayed involved. There wasn't really a layout spot. Now, the second main event, they had some layout spots.
Oh, they had some layout spots.
Daniel Bryan wouldn't. I don't even know if he was in the first half of the match. I don't even know if he got announced.
But there was a spot in the four-way dance where everybody was doing the finishing move of their
counterpart,
of their idol, and that part was really, really, really cool. I enjoyed that because it was like, oh, he just did this. Oh my God, he did that one. Oh my God, did you see that? That was cool. That got a pop out of me. Also,
my thing though, they did all those finishing moves. Again, we call them finishing moves.
Right.
They didn't finish anything.
It was just the homage though.
It was, and I get it, but come on now. If you're gonna do all the big time, the heavy hitters, finishers from the last decade to 2 decades. And back then they were so devastating that a guy couldn't get up. But now it's like, okay, you do it 1, 2, immediately pop up. Come on now. Said you're really wearing out the finishers here.
All of them having submissions on each other at the same time.
So the visual is cool, but where do we go from there?
Yeah, who was going to tap?
Exactly.
There was no way anybody could have tapped.
No, if they were going to do that spot, then they might as well have had all 4 of them tap at the same time. Just have everybody tap and then have all kind of confusion, and which is something else I wanted to talk about. So I liked the pay-per-view for what I saw of it. I liked everything I saw. I saw the Adam Cole, Chris Jericho match, good match. The Britt Baker part, where she came in hitting Jericho with the kendo. I feel like Jericho paused and waited long enough that he could have just ducked out, rolled out of the ring,
True.
and not took any of those shots. But he was trying to create, at the end, they just don't have the same polish as WWE, so they don't cover it up as well. Whatever. But that was good. I like that match. But the only thing I didn't really like about the whole pay-per-view was the announce team. I mean, they seemed to get so far lost in the main event, with the BCC. There was a point where one of the Jacksons had taken a pile driver in a truck bed in the back, right? And the guys got lost out there. They're like, where is Matt Jackson? We haven't seen Matt Jackson, blah, blah, blah. And then as they get through just figuring out where he was, as they literally had to talk it out to figure it out, here he comes down the ring, and he's hobbling. And I'm like, well, why is he hobbling? Well, then we know, the exploding kick and all that. He had to keep that safe. But yeah, the announcing was, I feel like they could have used some good old JR in that announce booth at that time to maybe try and steer the ship.
Well, JR was on there some throughout the night.
Yeah, he does the opening matches. He doesn't do the whole thing, which I think that's a fault on Tony's part.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the stuff, you've got Excalibur, he's giving his moves, his play-by-play, and then shoving what they call 10-pound shit in a 5-pound bag. Yeah. He's got to make all and we're going to be in this city next week.
Yeah, he's got a job to do. I get it.
You got to get all that in, but I really think that they could use some different people at that announce table. I like Taz. I like Excalibur. I like Tony. I like JR. I think, unfortunately, Tony and JR's time has come and gone.
Well, so JR says this on his podcast a lot. With Excalibur, Tony, and JR, they're all play-by-play guys. Mm-hmm. So now you're making somebody or two people possibly, because really Excalibur handles the play-by-play.
Yep.
So now you're kind of pushing JR and Tony into that, that other role. They're doing commentary, but they're not doing play-by-play, which is where they fit. They're kind of the relief guy. They're like the Jerry Lawler version of, and that's kind of where Taz needs to be. A 3-man booth is hard.
I think they
4-man booth is harder.
They should take it down to a 2-man booth.
They need to take it down to a 2-man booth. If you really want, Tony and JR to come in there, let them come in there for those nostalgia matches. When you get some of the, like when the Arn Andersons are out there.
Or let JR be the backstage or vignette interviewer. Let Tony be the backstage interviewer.
Exactly.
And leave it to Taz and Excalibur. I think Taz and Excalibur would shine.
Yeah. I feel like they could handle it if they would let them just work one-on-one to get the chemistry that they need.
Yeah.
They're not going to be JR and Jerry Lawler. They're not going to be Gorilla and Bobby. We know that. But there's nothing stopping them from being a damn good Excalibur and Taz, except for convolution in the booth.
Yeah. They step on each other a lot. But speaking of step on each other, did you see that exploding super kick?
Yeah, so
that's one of the craziest damn things I've ever seen.
I don't know how the hell they pulled that off. I knew when I'd heard about it before I saw it, because again I didn't watch it live, so I heard about it before I saw it. And as soon as I heard about it, I'm like, I guarantee Moxley was in there, because nobody else would,
nobody would
lay their head out there and let that happen in their face.
Moxley was like, I volunteer.
Yeah, hell, I mean, he was already bleeding. He's like, what else could happen to me, so.
But yeah, I saw some things though in the Anarchy and Arena match that I've never seen before. First, that exploding super kick was just,
that was insane.
That was insane. That was like wrestling mixed with anime. That was was crazy.
Again, like I said, so that. It didn't make up for the exploding death match for me, because I mean that was an ultimate fail. Like there's no coming back from it. That was pretty damn good. I must say that was one of those moments where you look at it like I had to rewind it. I'm like, wait, what? And then, I rewinded it and I'm like, well, holy shit, that's all I got.
And then Claudio takes the shoe and kicks it into the crowd, and I'm going, no, that shoe needs to be in the Hall of Fame somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, the fact that it's $300-400 Jordan, regardless of what other customization they may have had done to it, what it could be worth just in and of itself. The fact that, that this happened, somebody's out there with that shoe right now.
They got it back.
Oh,
they got it back. Because if you listen after he kicks it into the crowd, the crowd's kind of cheering about it. And then all of a sudden, the whole crowd, boo.
Oh, yeah.
They got it. Somebody
wouldn't have just taken that from me. We'd had to work that out in the back. There had been a check being written before.
Yeah, but that shoe's got to wind up in the Hall of Fame somewhere.
Definitely in AEW's Hall of Fame. Because, that's a spot that you're probably never going to see again.
And then the other spot that I've never seen before, somebody took a bare foot to tax.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was insane.
That was nuts. I mean, they right after that, they followed it with literally filling his mouth with tacks, and then Claudio giving him the super uppercut behind it.
I've seen that before.
I've never seen that before.
Somebody did that in ECW. I don't remember.
That I wouldn't doubt. I mean, there was a lot of crazy going on in ECW.
I've seen the mouthful of tacks because when they got kicked, it spit.
Yeah, and then they spit it all up there. Yeah. I mean, that was a hell of a visual. But, I mean, let's see. They had Taz and Sabu there this weekend. So they had a lot of references to go off of on crazy stuff that you can try and do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so again, we mentioned earlier, hard hitting. I mean, that match was hard hitting.
Yeah, them dudes put their body on the line. And if you've not watched the Being the Elites on YouTube, check them out. They're pretty cool whenever Young Bucks, Kenny Omega post stuff like that. But you could see at the end of that video after the match, them dudes were they were done. Like,
I can imagine they had to be spit. That might have been the only other thing. The Callis interference, okay, I get it. It fit in with the storyline. Why bring in Takeshita though? I mean, why? I know that's not his name, but MJF said it, and I'm never going to forget it. So it kind of is what it is. But
so there's another person getting ready to come into AEW, and they're trying to balance it out.
There's a spoiler.
Kushida is fixing to come into AEW.
Okay, so they kind of need somebody
so it's
offset on each side.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
So Takeshita will be on
Takeshita
on the BCC side, and Kushida will be on the Elite side. But this is all mounting up for another 5 versus 5 for Blood and Guts.
Gotcha.
This is where that's going.
Well, I'm here for it. I mean, that match that I just saw this weekend paid off. So, yeah, I'm here for it. So, I'm watching.
Crazy match. Definitely not your standard wrestling match.
But it was better than the things they did. Remember when they were in the Daly's place and they were doing, wrestling on the football field? They've definitely graduated from that. They've learned. It damn sure wasn't that exploding deathmatch nonsense.
No.
They're getting there. They're finally getting the pieces put together. They're apparently working with the right producers. They're doing the right research. This match was interesting. This match was fun. And it was hard hitting as hell.
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, it's not your standard, like I said, not your standard match. It's like your Elimination Chamber match. It's your one-off kind of crazy rules, different circumstances kind of match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But let's move on to the juggernaut of production, which was WWE's Night of Champions.
There we go.
Dude, that whole...
Day of Champions? Midday of Champions?
Midday of Champions.
Because, I watched it at 1. So.
Yeah, we could run it like that.
Yeah, it wasn't no nighttime around, although it was rainy as hell in where we're at this weekend. So it was kind of dark. So I guess they kind of played into it. But Day of Champions, day 1.
Kicking that off with Seth versus AJ for the new World Heavyweight Championship.
Which, although if you've heard our past episode, we said was linked to the old World Heavyweight Championship. It is not linked to the World Heavyweight Championship. Yep. Apparently it's a brand new belt. It's the inaugural World Heavyweight Championship, which represents Raw, even though Roman's still holding a Raw belt.
World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Is what Roman is.
The WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, because it was linked with the former World Heavyweight Championship.
It still has its heritage.
Okay, so stop. before we delve down that path of no resistance, stop. Okay, so but the match, I mean,
the match was great.
We knew what we were going to get out of those two guys long before that match, long before that bell ring. We knew we were going to get a wrestling classic, and they didn't disappoint. I probably said last week, I know I asked you because we watched it live together, was there any doubt of what's going to happen here? Because I had zero doubt.
No doubt at all.
Going into it. So, I mean, they did the right thing putting AJ in it because they knew they could get a quality match out of it, but I don't think there was anybody in that arena or watching worldwide on Peacock that thought that Seth Rollins wasn't walking away with that belt.
Yeah, Seth took the belt, and, I'm happy for that decision. Again, the you deserve it chance. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that dude deserves that belt.
I mean, it's been 4 years since he was a champion, and it's been 4 years since AJ wrestled for a championship.
And he's been working his ass off.
That's insane on both fronts. The fact that those two guys wrestled for AJ's last title match, and he wrestled Seth, and it was 4 years ago. Now, I get it. We've had 3 full years of Roman Reigns, so I understand why there's only been, one champion, but Jesus, when you think about those guys and the quality, the level of wrestling that they're at, the fact that they haven't even wrestled for a heavyweight championship in years and years and years, That was astounding to hear. That was a stat that I didn't think I would be hearing, but okay.
Yeah, and then you had matches Ali and Gunther for the Intercontinental belt.
That happened.
Yeah, that was a again, did you see any other outcome happening on that?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, I know they were in Jeddah, they were in Saudi. You know, Ali is Saudi of Saudi heritage. Yeah. I get it, but same as when Zelina Vega was of Puerto Rican heritage, and I said, there ain't no way in hell. No, Rhea's losing this belt 3 weeks after she just won it. So, yeah, a little bit of predictability going on there. But, I mean, you know, Ali, just like Zelina, put on a good match. So, you know, it was fun to watch. I'm sure the hometown crowd appreciated, you know, seeing their guy in a main event style match. It's okay. It was what it was. But kind of the same thing I said about Double or Nothing. If there was a match that I may have dozed off on, this would have been in that area that it was happening, just because the first match really brought a lot of energy. So,
talking about a match that was unpredictable, talking about Becky versus Trish. I don't think anybody saw that ending with Zoe Stark happening.
Absolutely not. I figured it was going to be the same old of old-time legend coming in, putting over the young star, you know, getting them hot again. Well, she didn't put her over. She lost. But, I mean, let's be honest. Becky's probably as hot as she's been since her original The Man run.
Yeah.
This is interesting. You know, seeing Zoe Stark come out there, you know, young, fresh talent, you know, just drafted up, who was good in NXT, to be able to see her put into this, you know, kind of main event type storyline next to a veteran like Trish. I mean, come on now, you know, they're doing some rubbing over there, you know, and if Zoe can take the rub the right way, her and Becky can ascend.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and get themselves right up in that main event conversation going forward. So, you know, kudos all around for that situation. They're definitely working that right.
I feel like Becky's got to get somebody else on her side, though, now to even the odds. Who do you think that might be?
I mean, so the last time we saw, you know, who's always Trish's counterpart? You know, who's always Trish's
Lita? You
know, her foil. So, you know, you could always bring Lita back. Or, you know, you bring in somebody else. You get, you know, some of these other NXT drafts.
I wouldn't mind seeing her partner with Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae is an option. I mean, you know, Indy got drafted recently. She may be coming back from injury here around SummerSlam time. Maybe that's when you do it. You know, maybe you get a couple NXT call-ups that you just drafted and you get them in this main event match.
Maybe even Nikki Cross.
Hey, you know, Nikki's in and out of school right now. She's got a lot going on. But there's a lot of women in WWE's main roster right now that could use that elevation. And, you know, same as we said, the whole title situation is so flubbed up over there right now that we don't need to really insert any more nonsense into that, because it kind of is what it is. And God knows they need work to fix it. So we don't really need to put any more confusion in it. But if you can get another main event storyline going outside of that nonsense, then, hey, it's good for everybody involved.
Speaking of nonsense, Rhea versus Natty.
So that was nonsense. Do you realize, and I remember telling you this while we were watching it, both of those women flew 14, 15 hours for 14, 15 seconds of actual wrestling. Their entrances took longer than the match did.
That was ridiculous.
It was. And I get it. You know, they want to establish Rhea as the dominant champion. What better way to do it than to go over on a veteran like Natty?
Right.
Natty wants to wrestle in these events. You know, she wants to notch her belt with these types of things and all that. Okay, great. But that minute and 9 seconds that they used to do that wrestling would have been a good minute and 9 seconds. We all could have went to the bathroom and got some popcorn, or, you know, Jeddah could have prayed to Allah or whatever they need to do. All that could have happened in that time that they wasted doing that match. So, you know, you had to fly 15 hours to go over there and do that. And they spent more time getting dressed for that match. So
true.
For me, I wasn't there for that. Like I said, I could have used that time to do a lot of better stuff.
So we gotta watch our time.
I took you all out of your groove.
You talk about praying to Allah.
Nice. Popped you again. That's what I do here. Everybody out there is laughing too. Don't worry, they're all tripping right now too.
Let's talk about real quick Bianca, Asuka. Asuka winning that match in a very unconventional way.
Definitely very unconventional. It was pretty sloppy, pretty gross.
I don't think anybody saw the ending of that match coming.
No, I mean, so we're still coming fresh out of the COVID era. I don't know if we need to be rubbing our fingers and stuff all up in other people's eyes and noses and mouths and stuff. Although Trish had her fingers all in Becky's mouth earlier.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
That was like a women's theme. I don't know who booked, did TJ book the women this weekend?
Maybe they got a teeth fetish over there.
Whatever happened over there, but they're all up in each other's mouths and stuff with their fingers. And I don't think we're there yet as a society yet where we need to be in each other's mouths with our hands, but whatever.
Very, very creative victory. Hard fought match. Those two really took it to each other. And I hope that ain't over. I
they
hope
can run that through the whole
on.
summer. They can they can carry Bianca versus Asuka for the whole summer. Bianca's defended for over a year. Now she can do a little bit of chasing. Maybe not win. And then I heard rumors of her and the Street Profits having a little face to heel turn this summer, which would be a nice refresh for all parties involved. So yeah, let them go do that. Bianca's got a good argument to have now. After the way she lost this weekend, hey, she got cheated, she got jobbed, she got robbed. It'll give her something to maybe start whining about, about how she ain't treated fairly, blah, blah, blah. Nice little heel transition, and then take the Street Profits with her. Cause Montez is ready to break out.
Oh, so, absolutely.
If that can find a way to freshen those guys up, then hey, I'm all here for it. Let's go.
And then let's get into the meat and potatoes. The two matches, Cody and Brock. Nobody thought that was going to happen either.
No, so I thought that was going to look more like the Natty match. I thought that was going to look like Natty and Rhea. Cody came in there with one wing. He's a one-winged angel again. Oh, wait a minute.
Wrong brand.
Yeah, wrong show. What show are we talking about here?
WWE.
So, but he done it. He did it before. He was a one-winged angel in the Hell in the Cell against Seth, with the right arm being down. And he fought, and he carried over. He actually won that match. Going into a wrestling match with Brock Lesnar, though, you're one wing down. What the heck is that? First of all, why? But it works for Cody's story. He's going to overcome all the odds, and he's got to. We talked about this before in past episodes. He's got to overcome these hard times, and taking a loss to Brock Lesnar is his hard times. He's got 2 losses in his year and a half back. Roman and Brock. That ain't a bad resume to take. If you're going to carry 2 losses, them ain't 2 bad guys to pick him up against. But, he was also able to transition it into, you couldn't make me tap out. You couldn't make me tap out regardless of how bad I was injured. You couldn't make me tap out. So that gives them more, credence to fill into that story to possibly carry that through the whole summer.
Yeah, I think that's going to turn into a SummerSlam rubber match between those two. If you saw our social media, I posted a theory that I have that Triple H was the one who sent Brock to get Cody, because they've really never fulfilled that angle yet as far as like why. Cody was asking why it never materialized, and I think we may get that eventually. Don't know now if it's going to be Triple H or not, but the way that Triple H ended that one episode where he was talking to Cody and trying to talk him out of it.
Knee, then kind of pat him on the back and smirk.
It still may be there. They may be slow rolling it, putting it on ice. And,
there's a lot of meat on that bone. Yeah. Let's be honest. Cody doesn't shy away from his time away from WWE. He doesn't get in depth about it, but he also doesn't shy away from mentioning it. What's to stop Triple H from mentioning, hey, I saw what you did over there.
Yeah.
I know what that was. Yeah. So,
and if there's any storyline that can come close to what's going on with the bloodline, it would be that.
And if you really want to find a way to draw in those hardcore AEW faithful that refuse to just watch WWE because they really love the AEW brand, why not incorporate a little AEW storyline right into the mix and make them watch? You're forcing that 800,000 to 900,000 strong that watch AEW every Wednesday. Whatever ones of those that aren't watching WWE, you're kind of forcing them to have to turn on Raw every now and again, because you're like, wait a minute, I did like Cody or I did hate Cody. Now we're referencing a lot of AEW. Let's see what's going on over there. So, good way to draw interest.
Yep. And then, going to the last match there for the tag belts, Roman and Solo versus KO and Sammy.
Those belts were an afterthought in this whole match. I'm just going to put it out here.
It was storyline. That
was a story-driven match, all to be damned, and it told a hell of a story.
Fantastic story. Another wrinkle, another twist in the story of the bloodline. Seeing them continue to spiral and unravel, just as Sammy told us that was going to happen.
But
And
they were
it's-
smart. You know, he said that was going to happen in Mania, right? They milked 2 more
They built
months
it,
out of
yep.
that. They milked 2 more
They're
months
going
out.
to milk it until WrestleMania.
Yeah, they can
next year.
milk it now to, you know, eventually Solo's going to have that. He's going to come to a crossroads. You know, is he going to side with his brothers? Is he going to side with the tribal chief?
Yep.
I saw on social media, Rikishi said, you know, he might be making an appearance. You know, Roman said he wants the whole family here for his 1,000 days celebration, you know, coming up on SmackDown here later on this week. You know, you got Samoans tweeting now. You got a lot of guys out there. You know, Jacob Fatu's out there. You know, he's in MLW, but hey, you know, he can get a one-off. You know, his contract with MLW in, you know, WWE exclusive, you know, non-exclusive where he can't go there. They can open that forbidden door to let some family members in if they need to. I mean, you know, what if the Great One found his way back here? You know, even on a video chat, you know, he don't have to stop in. You know, we ain't going to see him in the arena.
And he may not even have to get in the ring.
No, that's why I say he can send in a video
part
chat.
of the story.
He could literally send in a simple video tweet saying, hey, Roman, congratulations on 1,000 days. You know, kudos. And just kind of leave. Don't call him the tribal chief. Don't acknowledge him. Kind of plant that seed. They're probably not going to do it, but those of you listening to it, you know you want to see it. Just like we're saying.
Oh, yeah.
You know your mouth is wet right now. Like, oh my God, that would be amazing. But they probably won't do it. But man, if they did.
So Jimmy and Jay, well, let's just say Jimmy has officially turned his back on Roman.
Yeah.
We don't know where Jay is at yet. Solo is still by his side. The wise man don't think he's ever going to turn on Roman.
No, that would be Roman going away for a while.
Yeah,
Like, if
that's
two
the
split-
end of the story.
Yeah,
if
if
that
those two
happens.
split, that's the legit end of it.
But as far as what's going on with Jimmy and Jay, the story now pivots to them. Jimmy's broke away. Jimmy has forsaken it all and said, "Screw you, going rogue. I'm out. I'm not doing it anymore."
Jimmy took a cue from his wife.
Yeah,
I mean,
bounced.
She said she left and said, "Screw you, I'm out. I'm not doing it anymore." And now she's over there filling your nights on Thursday nights on Impact.
On
Wrestling.
Impact.
So I mean, hey, there's life after your whatever, you know. And she found it. You know, now he's following right down the footsteps, but in storyline move.
But what is Jay going to do? Is he going to go back to Roman? Is he going to stick with his brother? Is Roman going to accept Jay back, even if he tried to stay in the bloodline?
There's so many wrinkles that
So many
they got
twists
to
and
iron
turns.
out now. I mean,
Yeah.
everything you just said is a whole entire week.
Yep.
That they could devote
One
to
little
that.
piece of it is an entire.
Exactly. They could devote 1 week to, you know, what's Jay gonna do? They could devote a whole nother week to how does Jimmy feel about this? A whole nother week to, you know, how does Roman feel? That's a whole nother, you're already worked yourself to the next pay-per-view, and that's just handling the fallout of this storyline. So I mean, my goodness, you know, there's endless, you know, there's countless options to choose from here. And I mean, that's the best place to be in going into the summer.
So it looked like, you know, the train of the bloodline story had kind of come to a halt, but at the same time, we picked up steam and now we're carrying forward. So definitely on board of that train, ready to see where it goes next.
Oh yeah, but all I can say about it is what a weekend. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, this weekend,
Heaven.
you know, you had an extra day off and all that. This weekend gave you all that you could ask for and more.
And more. So with that, everybody, go on our social media accounts, hit us up, tell us your thoughts about the weekend. Which, you know, was there a match we didn't talk about that you felt, you know, deserved more attention? Definitely hit us up, drop us a line, tell us your thoughts, and we appreciate all the feedback and communication. But with that, everybody, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast today, and we bid you adieu.
Peace.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.